to Diecast Customs. Today we're going to start working on Ertl International truck. This truck has seen better days. It is a diecast truck. It's kind of old. This is one that the interior and everything, the interior grill, bumper, stacks and all is one piece. So we're going to have to fix one of the stacks, get the chrome redone, figure out how we're going to get the interior painted a different color. The glass looks pretty good. The cab's in pretty good shape. We're going to have to take the paint off, get it cleaned up, primed and repainted. The actual base of the truck is in pretty good shape. The rear axle's messed up, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up cutting this axle out. I've got a couple of new axles that I'm going to put in. I'm going to redo the chrome on the front rims because I think these front rims look pretty good. They almost look like the old style rims before they started using the aluminum bullet hole rim type for the 18 wheelers. But one of the problems that I do have is this axles were right much smaller than the axles that I've got that I'm gonna use. So I'm actually gonna have to drill these out to fit. I don't want to pull this out because this stuff is pressed in, and with it being pressed in like that, a lot of times with these old diecast things, one of the trucks that I messed with when I first started doing this is a diecast truck with a diecast frame like this, and some of the parts were pressed together, and when I tried to get the truck apart I actually broke it, and to the point where it was almost unrepairable. And I don't want to do that with this one, so I'm not even going to try to remove any of these pressed pieces in here. The cab actually goes pressed back on, and I'm hoping that everything's going to go good with that once everything is cleaned and painted. So I guess to start with, the next thing we need to do is get this back axle out, which is going to be kind of hard because they don't give you a whole lot of room to work with here. So I'm actually going to use my Dremel and try to get in here without messing the frame up. So that's that. We've got all this stuff out. Like I said, I'm going to leave these front wheels in, so I'm not going to try to do anything with them other than just clean them up and repaint the chrome part on the rims. But next step is we're going to see if we can get the paint off of this. So I've got some paint remover that I'm going to use, which is the citrus strip. It shouldn't take but a few minutes, and we'll see if we can get that done. Alright, we're going to start on the removing the paint from this. You are going to need rubber gloves. This stuff is not good for your skin, and it's something that I will try not to breathe a whole lot either. You need to make sure you're in a well ventilated place to do this. So basically I'm just going to open this up. And we're going to just get the stripper on. You want to give it a good thick coat. And now basically we're just going to sit and let the paint stripper do its work, and we'll come back when the paint stripper's done doing what it's going to do and go from there. Alright, so the paint stripper's pretty much started doing its job. I'm just going to come in and just kind of gently start taking this off. Alright, as usual, where the stripes were, it stopped the stripper from doing what it was supposed to do, which is stripping the paint. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to add a little bit more back to those spots, and then we'll just have to go from there. I'll give this just a little bit of time to work. And we'll check back with it in just a couple of minutes. Now that we got most of the paint removed, a lot of these nooks and crannies is kind of hard to get into. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a wire brush on my Dremel tool, and I'm going to go through and get the rest of this stuff cleaned up and kind of get the truck shined up a little bit and get it ready to primer. Okay, now that we got that step done, I'm gonna go back in with a file and try to clean up a little bit of the stuff in the casting, especially on like the window posts. All right, now the next step is going to be to prime this and get it painted, and then we're going to go on to the next step, which is going to be drilling and fitting our rear axles in, and then getting the bottom part of this cleaned up and get it ready to paint. Okay, so I've got everything drilled for my rear end, and I got my rear axles put in. Now all I got to do is get this painted, finish getting my base cleaned up, my cabs clean. So basically all we got left is paint work. So I'm going to get the frame clean, get the cab primed and painted. I think I'm actually going to go with a white cab and a red frame on this truck. So I'll be back for the assembly after I get done with the paint. Alright, we're gonna we got our paint done on our cab. So what we're gonna do now is I got these stripes from an old model kit that I had, and I've cut them to fit the size of the cab. So we're gonna try and see if we can get these on without tearing. A lot of times these are kind of aggravating, but we're gonna see what we can do here. Anytime you're doing this, make sure you soak your water slide stripes really good. And what I'm going to try to do is get it to go just below the window. Pretty much just like that. Then we'll just take a paper towel, get everything pressed down, and it's pretty much just where we wanted it. And it pretty much comes out just like this. Okay. Alright, we got both the stripes on. Everything's looking real good. And we're gonna get ready to do the final assembly here shortly. And then we'll do some detailing on the lights, the headlights. We'll do the international in silver too. Do the door handle and the international emblems right here. I did do the frame red on this truck. That's one of the reasons I like this stripe, because it's got just a little bit of hairline red in it. Did a match going with the frame. But we're gonna get everything else done and ready to put together. Alright, we're gonna get the chrome done. I've kind of ended up liking the way the chrome interior looks, so I think I'm actually going to leave it instead of painting it. But I'm going to get all this done, but I'm going to get this right here filed off level so I can make another piece to finish fixing my stack. So basically all I want to do is that little piece of stack that was still there, get it filed off to where it's pretty level, so when I go to glue my new one in, it'll go and everything will be right. So I used the tester's paint. This is just silver paint. I hand paint most of my stuff, either that or spray paint it, because I don't have an airbrush set up to do the airbrushing. That may be a future project that I do, trying to get into some airbrushing. We're going to get all this chrome painted. Got our grill looking better. Now when this dries, I'll take and come back and take that file and knock just a little bit of that paint off and glue my new piece in, and then hit it with some silver paint. I want to go ahead and make sure I've got a real good coat on all of this before I glue my new one in, because I don't want to have to move it around a lot after I get that part glued in, because it's as small a piece as it is, it's going to be kind of easy to break back off, and that's something that I really don't want to do. So we're one step closer to getting it to the final assembly, and the next thing we're going to do is get the frame and get the silver parts on it detailed. I'm going to do probably the tanks, just the tanks and stuff in silver, and leave the rest of it red, and then we'll be ready to put the truck completely back together. Alright, we got our frame painted and it's ready. We're going I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the tanks and the part of the catwalk plate right here silver, just to give it a little bit different look. Alright, we got that done. We got our rear axles ready. So it's actually starting to look like a truck again. Now all we got to do is get the interior put in, the glass put in, and basically get the cab back on, pressed down. We are going to fix some mud flaps for this truck. I'll have to make them out of some plastic card, but we'll get that done next. All right, we got all the paint dry. We got all our parts ready to go together. So we're going to start reassembling this truck and get everything done. I actually made a piece for the mud flaps. It'll go right here, and I'll get it glued in, and probably what I'll do is I'll take and use my liquid chrome and go through and add a little bit of detail to that and leave my flaps white. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my liquid chrome pen and I'm going to come in and I'm going to give that International on the top some chrome. The headlights, we're going to do the marker lights. We're going to do the International under the door and door handles. Just to give it a little bit more detail and make the truck stand out a little bit more. All right. So the first part with this is going to be putting the glass back in. So we're going to get that done first. So basically all I'm going to do is we're going to pop the glass back in. And all of this has got to go back in, and it's kind of aggravating to try to get back in because the grill piece has got to go. We got to go under, and then you've got to get that back in, and then the piece for the stacks, and that's all put back in. Now this is going to be the fun part, because this truck's actually pressed together. These two pegs go into these two holes on the cab, and then these two will go down into here. So it's basically just set in like this. And then try to get that part right there pressed back in. Okay, I got my cab popped back on. Finally, it was a little on the aggravating side, but got everything back in it. Everything's pretty much done. Now we got to work on this stack and get it finished. So basically what I'm going to do is give it just a little dot of glue on my piece that I've already got made and get it set. This is always the aggravating part, trying to get it perfect back to where it would normally go, where it looks right from the side and from the front. That actually looks pretty good from both. So we're going to take and get the flaps glued on. And then we're actually going to have to take and bend them out just a touch so they don't rub the wheels. Because I'm not real sure that this truck actually had flaps when it was new, but I like flaps on them, so that's what we made sure we done. I've put a liquid chrome on my front rims to get them right. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to go ahead and take and I'm going to detail this out. What I want to do is make me a line because I want it to look like it's got a chrome bar on the back of it. And leave the rest of my flaps white. And that's pretty much got that. We're gonna have to leave that right there. This is gonna be the end of this video, but if you like what you see, we'd like for you to come back. We're gonna be doing some more trucks. I've got several that I got in a lot to do. A couple of Kenworth Aerodynes, that's Yatmings that I'm going to start on next. And they'll be a little bit easier to do than this one was. This one right here is kind of tough just for the simple fact that it's pressed together and you can't really do a whole lot with it. And I had to replace the back axles and everything. But if you like this content, I'd like for you to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And we're going to be trying to drop some more videos pretty soon, starting on those Yak Mean trucks. We got another Goliath video fixing to come out too on the Goliath truck. And I just wanted to say thanks and God bless.